So today we're going to talk about the elevator project. We're in Beverly, Massachusetts. It's been a 3 months journey, a lot of bumps on the road, a lot of interesting challenges to overcome. Pretty unusual product. It's a strictly residential elevator, meaning that the finishes inside are practically wooden. The caddy itself is built out of finished plywood. We installed pre-finished oak flooring as a continuation of the existing flooring in the house. A couple of interesting technical details. Even though it's in a residence, single-family home, local building inspector required us to install 2 layers of 5/8 drywall inside the shaft, pretty much following the commercial path for fire stopping, fireproofing. Something to have in mind because that shrinks the size of the caddy of the shaft. And as you can tell, we are in the middle of the house, like the dead center of the house. So the space is limited and every inch inside the elevator or outside of the shaft is very valuable. One feature that you can see here is pretty much a wooden residential door. So we were allowed to use wooden door that we could stain on the outside of the elevator and match the other units. However, inside, we had to use intumescent paint to meet the 2-hour rating required for elevator doors.
The intent of the design over here was to match anything you could possibly match. So this elevator that is seamless within the context of the house. Over here, there was a dumbwaiter. One of the possibilities was to use the dumbwaiter to actually put the elevator in. However, even though some drawings were done for that before we came into the place, the space inside was not sufficient, and it wasn't circulation-wise, it wasn't enough space to maneuver for a wheelchair. So what we had done is we opened up this space over here for the wheelchair to operate in. Turnaround radius is great. The turn here is great. We're meeting all the clearances, 36 inches everywhere, 36 inches over here. And the dumbwaiter is gone. There is nothing in here anymore. As you see, seamless floor without any interruptions. When you come into the door through the main entry, this is what you're going to be seeing. It's a corner. It's nothing that is super visible. It's just a turn. So this space feels really open and very attractive. Almost if the elevator was here from the very beginning.
So we migrated to the second floor, and I would like to point out a couple of challenges that we had to overcome. When we started the project, obviously this shaft didn't exist. This was a hallway, and in this vicinity, there was a dumbwaiter. We had to get rid of it to expand the hallway and make more room for occupants to move. So patching the floor was pretty challenging. We really had to save every flooring plank from other locations where we demoed the floor to make a nice patch here, so it's pretty much invisible, right? But it's hard to believe, but the shaft was exactly in this vicinity. Another thing was enough clearance between the new corner created by the elevator shaft and the railing. That required us doing the railing entirely. And obviously the railing built almost 100 years ago was definitely too low, so we had to replace all the balusters with the much taller ones. We achieved 42-inch height. We were able to reinstall the original handrail and guardrail to satisfy the preferences of the owner. We tried to restore as much as we could, however the balusters are new. This triangular section of the floor was added to provide clearance, and these are the major modifications we had to do here on the second floor without really changing the look and the feel of this house.
Again, the idea on the third floor was to have an open space, a lot of space to maneuver. This actually felt this way before. There was no change in the feel of the house. The bump out, yes, was created, but the door matches the other doors colors. And the dumbwaiter that was down here, again, you cannot even see that it was there.
A couple of things to mention. When we started the project 3 months ago, we quickly discovered that the demolition phase is going to be the most challenging, the most difficult demolition we've ever had to conquer. Two reasons for that. This house was built in 1931, if I'm not mistaken, and whoever did the plastering was a phenomenal craftsman. They used metal mesh and plaster veneer was embedded on it. It became the most challenging, the most difficult demo job of the walls and ceilings. It took us almost 2 weeks. On top of that, when we started cutting concrete walls in the basement, it turned out that these walls are 12 inches thick and the concrete was amazingly hard. So we went through many diamond blades of concrete cutting saws before we achieved our goal. So the house is amazingly built. The bones of it are super strong, very difficult to work with when you have to demo it. Per owner's request, we kept the mechanism of the dumbwaiter extremely heavy, so we left it on the second floor waiting for the elevator to be operational, to bring it down and relocate it to the garage. But that's the original mechanism, extremely heavy, extremely well built, serving the residents for many, many decades until we decommissioned it.